Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Rick Wallace dropping in on you. I know it's been a while since I've actually dropped in with an inspirational message in the AM. A lot has been going on. I have been extremely busy. A book release coming up next week for my latest book, which will be book number 19. Wow. Born in Captivity, Psychopathology as a Legacy of Slavery, dropping next week. First release is going to actually be 3 releases. It's going to be the release of the interactive ebook. Then following thereafter will be the release of the print copy, which will be hardcover and paperback. Then there will be the final release, or at least what we think now will be the final release, which will be the documentary. So there's a lot of work going on in the background. There's a lot of research involved, and this is something that has been done as far as research and philosophy, conceptualization. Everything has been me. It's been my message in the way that I want to present it, and the solutions to the problem in the way that I feel will be most efficacious. I'm excited about that, but at the same time, I am currently working on my first true full-length online course for the Visionetics Institute, which is my life mastery business, where I teach people how to achieve next level living, accomplishing the things that they set out to do, no matter what's happening in their life. Again, the book release will actually be taking place on my 50th birthday next week. So that's coming up. And so much more. I'm doing the inner city work with the Black Men Lead Rite of Passage program for young black males, the Music is Life program to help teach our children music in all scopes. All of that's in play. Financial literacy courses, for free financial literacy courses for inner city communities. All of that's in play. And to think, 10 months ago, I was laying in an ICU unit without the use of either arm, with one arm having nerve damage and not being able to type, which is how I make a living, and not being able to dress myself, bathe myself, to do all those things, and to be looking up for the first time in my life and realizing that I wasn't physically invincible. And this was less than a year ago. And I literally was having a difficult time looking out and seeing all of the goals and the visions that I have for my life play out, because where I was sitting, the most simplest of tasks I couldn't complete. And so I thought about that this morning as I got up. And see, the one thing that I do, and one thing that I got to tell you before moving on, is without a heart of gratitude, you lose so much of your capacity to dream, to visualize, to imagine the process, to elevate your thinking, to be in a mindset that will help you drive out of the darkness. You need to have a mindset of gratitude. And I'm not talking about this fake thing, that facade that we like to put on. I'm talking about taking the time to develop the capacity to be grateful for those things that are right. And there's never a time where there's not something in your life to be. If you have to look at what you're going to become to develop the capacity to be grateful, you've got to find it, because that gratitude will center you. It will settle you. It will provide you with the mindset, because what you have to understand is you're operating on spiritual frequencies that create energy and vibrations that produce the capacity to receive. You can't receive high energy, high frequency, high vibration realities, which are the positive and powerful and unimaginable and infinite realities, if you're vibrating on a low frequency of depression, of anger, of bitterness, of worry, of stress, of frustration. It's impossible to go out functioning on that frequency and produce anything that is manifesting on a higher vibration or a higher frequency, and you consistently ask yourself, why can't I? Well, that question alone is literally setting the stage for why you can't. Your mind is going to answer the question you ask it, not go out and find ways to prove that what you're asking is not true. If you say, why can't I make it? Your mind will go out and find all the reasons why you're not making it. And it will literally filter out all of the evidence that is to the contrary. Anything that shows that you could make it will be filtered out, because that's not the mindset you're in. That's not the vibration you're functioning on. That's not the keywords that you're putting into the search engine of your mind. What you key into the search engine of your mind through the questions you ask yourself based on your limited or unlimited beliefs is what your mind is going to go out and find. Your mind is simply your brain. Is simply the computer. Your mind is the user, and your mind is functioning on belief systems and ideas that you have developed through experiences and interpretations of those experiences that in turn become beliefs. And if you have beliefs that are limiting you, what's going on, little bro? Will Williamson, man, we got to get together on this documentary. But anyway, what you have to be able to do is shift your paradigm, stop your thinking. So what happens when absolutely everything seems to be going wrong? When you look around and it just seems like nothing is going right. First of all, there's no time that absolutely everything is going wrong. That's a perception. You've got to start changing your perception in the way you interpretate the things that are going on around you. The difference between the person who excels and the person who doesn't excel is one person takes on the victim mindset of life is happening to me, and the other person takes on the victorious mindset of life is responding to me. So when I know that life is responding to me and then I'm getting things that I'm not happy with, then I understand that there's something that I'm doing that is limiting my ability to function and achieve the level of success that I'm looking for. It's always going to be a challenge. Life is not about ease. Like I said, I'm about to release book number 19. When I first started and with my first book, The Invisible Father, Reversing the Curse of a Fatherless Generation, there was a problem with the fact that it was a non-fictional book. It was focusing on a highly specified target audience, and that most of the publishing companies that I was going to, well, actually all the publishing companies that I went to said they couldn't do it because it wasn't marketable. While it was well written and the point was good and the message was powerful, the audience wasn't large enough. In other words, they didn't believe that the audience that would actually benefit from the book would buy the book. And so they didn't get behind it. So what I did is I looked at self-publishing, these places that you just send it to them and they publish it and whatever. I didn't want that. What I wanted to create my own publishing company so I can control the entire creative process and then find distributors. And so that's what I did. And here I am now with all but one of my books published through my publishing company. And then the other book, the publisher approached me and asked me to write, which is the complete opposite of what I was facing when I started this. What if I would have just given up and said, hey, you know what? I wrote it. Nobody wants to publish it. I tried. What you have to understand is not every opportunity that you're looking for is going to fall into your lap. Matter of fact, very few of the opportunities that you need in order to do what it is that you want to do is going to fall in your lap. The people who actually achieve things wake up in the morning and they go out and find opportunities. And if they can't find the one they're looking for, they create it. And that's what I'm talking about. If it's not there, you make it. If nobody will hire you, create your own job. You have to find a way to make things happen for you. And you do that by believing in yourself and understanding yourself, looking in yourself. The one moniker that I look up, there are a number that I operate by, but the one moniker I look up at when I run into hell and high water, when I run into what seems to be an immovable force that's standing in front of me or between me and that thing that I absolutely have to have, is that I buckle down, I look at the challenge and I say, I'm built for this. I don't care what it is. I lost a sister and a brother-in-law in May of 2012 within 2 weeks of each other. through tragic and unexpected events, I looked at it, and I'm facing all of these other challenges at the same time, where I'm trying to move myself back into the spectrum of success that I had stumbled from. And I had to look at it and say, I'm built for this. I have gone through processes in which I had something sitting in front of me, but it just didn't seem like it was going to happen. I had to say, I'm built for this. I had times when people were talking behind my back and laughing at what they felt was my future demise. And I had to look at it and say, I'm built for this. There were times that I wasn't earning the approval and the approbation of the masses. And I had to say, that's okay. I'm built for this. You're going to have moments in which you look at the challenges that you're facing and they seem bigger than you, but you got to search yourself for that why. Why am I going after this goal? Why am I fighting so hard to have it? Why is it so important to me? And when you finally find that why that's bigger than your moment, you will overcome every obstacle that you come up against. When you have that why, that reason, that purpose that's bigger than you, that's bigger than the moment, that when you sit up and look at that challenge in front of you, it may be overwhelming to you, but it's not bigger than your purpose. It's not bigger than your why. You will push through. You will go the distance. You will stand up. You will say, just like I always say, I'm built for this. So when everything is going wrong, buckle down. Look yourself in the mirror. Say, I'm built for this. Stand up. Dust yourself off. Hold your head up. That's something about squaring your shoulders and holding your head up. Your posture feeds your confidence. Your posture feeds your ideology. Your posture feeds your expectations. When you can hold your head up, try holding your head up and squaring your shoulders and then feeling defeated at the same time. It's impossible. There's something about squaring your shoulders and holding your head up that sets you straight and prepares you to engage the challenges that you are facing. Just 10 months ago, like I told you, 10 months ago, I'm laying in a hospital bed in ICU with a blood pressure 250 something over 189, with doctors in awe of why I haven't stroked out or had a heart attack. And they're looking at me and they're going, you shouldn't be alive. And I'm laying there having gone through a traumatic experience to where my body just totally went haywire on me. I had what's equated to, I guess, some type of seizure, but it was so intense that it dislocated both arms, caused me to fall, fractured my humerus, damaged nerves in the left arm, incapacitated both arms, the right and the left, but really truly damaged the left. I had no feeling, no strength in the left hand, so I couldn't even type. And I'm looking out and I've got all these visions, all these dreams. I'm less than 2 months away, 2 months away from marrying my fiance at the time, my wife now. And I'm supposed to be a provider. I'm supposed to be a person that's bringing stability. I'm supposed to be a person that's bringing protection. And I'm looking up, and if something happens, I'm thinking, how can I even defend and protect my wife? I can't even lift my arms. I can't open a door. I can't get dressed. I can't bathe myself. And then I said, stop. You're built for this. You haven't met a challenge in your life yet that you have not overcome. You've not met one obstacle that you weren't able to overcome. You haven't met one person, one thing, one situation that you didn't drive through it. You're built for this. So I manned up. I looked at it. I was being told by doctors and baby, you need to be in the bed. You need to be resting. I was up. I was sitting up trying to come up with ways to create what I needed to do in content to keep my businesses going with my voice activated system that I found. I was trying to find ways to do it. I couldn't do things physically, so I turned my mind into overdrive. And then there was a time that I just said, I'm going to show up in the gym. If I can't lift nothing, I'm going to walk around and look at people. I'm not going to sit back and be afraid to go. I went to the gym the first time, couldn't even bench press the bar. You talk about somebody who used to do 120, 130 push-ups straight every morning out of the bed, and before I went to bed at night, come to the gym and pump out 10 with 250 like it wasn't nothing. Couldn't bench press the bar. But instead of sitting up and feeling sorry for myself, I say, well, I'm going to start with the air. I'm telling you what I went through. I'm going to start with the air. I was doing air presses. And I know people were looking at me like, this dude, you know how you look like, this dude, why is he even here? Why is he taking up space? Because I'm in an environment that demands you put in the work. I'm in an environment that as a former athlete is automatically associated with grind, with hard work, with pushing yourself, with not quitting. So I showed up at the gym until I could conquer the gym. Now I'm back to bench pressing close to 200 and something pounds. I can't do it the way I used to yet. But talking about 10 months ago, I couldn't even lift my arms. 10 months ago, I couldn't even handle my business affairs. 10 months ago, I had to have baby dress me. We were talking and laughing about that the other day. I couldn't put a freaking t-shirt on. But I said to myself, I'm built for this. And here I am now, 10 months later, about to drop book number 19, about to release my first online program. I already pushed out an amazing course. Already preparing for the next book, which is book number 20, which is critical mass. If you want to learn how to reach critical mass in your life, critical mass is just simply that point in anything where all of the things that you need to come together to make something happen comes together. If you want to learn how to meet critical mass, just stay tuned and wait till about the end of this year. And I'm going to drop something on you that you're going to be able to flow through and just go, wow. I'm talking about everything from dealing with your limited thoughts to setting up the right mindset to shifting paradigms to creating an image and vision and driving yourself. Everything that you need to be who it is that you desire to be is on the inside of you. The enemy that's stopping you right now isn't all the forces operating on the outside. It's the enemy on the inside that's stopping you. And that's what we're going to deal with in critical mass. I'm telling you, I'm not stopping. And if you think all of this is easy what I'm doing, I'm telling you, I'm going through major growing pains because I've got so many things that are pushing and growing at one time. I got major growing pains. And if you've dealt with business, you know what I mean when I say growing pains. The opportunity and the capacity and the force and momentum of growth isn't always met with resources. And so you've got to create those things and be visual and understand how to manage that. It's about keeping things afloat and pushing them and staying with it and believing that the end result is what you're looking for and you're going to have it. It's not about ease. It's not about somebody opening all the doors and lighting the way for you. It doesn't come like that. Sometimes you've got to stand up and fight and push through. Again, I'm going to close this with my favorite quote. If you've heard me anytime, if you've heard me speak, if you've read it in my writings, you've probably, with any consistency, you've probably heard this before. One of my favorite quotes is from this movie Lawless, where the Bondurant brothers are these moonshiners up in the hills of either Kentucky, Tennessee, or West Virginia, somewhere up in there. But they up in there, they run moonshine, and they are those dudes. It's a bunch. If you look at the hills at night in this movie, nothing but stills lit up all up and down the hills, but they are the ones. And they got an understanding with the law enforcement there. You know, we gonna look out for you, you look out for us, and that's how it's run for years. But Chicago's twisted city gets wind of the money that's flowing through country hands, and they send some dirty law enforcement officers down there to take some money. And these Bondurant brothers ain't having it. Well, the two older brothers are real tough. They not having it. They got reputations. One, the middle brother, Forrest, is like got this reputation of that you can't even kill him. He's been shot and stabbed and everything else, and he won't die, and he's just tough. And Howard is a killer. But then they got the younger brother played by Shia LaBeouf, and he's smart, but he's not tough. He never fitted in the tough specter. But he gets caught up by these laws, beat within an inch of his life. His cousin is literally killed, and he's sitting in the bar bleeding, the bar that his brothers own. He's sitting in the bar bleeding, and the brother looks over at him, Forrest, the toughest one, looks over at him and says, "So what are you going to do?" And he looks at his brother and says, "I'm not tough like you. I'm not violent like you. I don't know how to fight like you. I don't know how to shoot and kill like you. That's not in me." He walks over and he leans over to him and he says this, and I swear I live by this. He says, "It's not violence. It's not the violence that sets a man apart. It's the distance he's willing to go." It's not the violent. You can be violent, but if you're not willing to go the distance, you're still not going to get far. You can be smart, but if you're not willing to go the distance, you won't get far. You can have connections, but if you're not willing to go the distance, you're not going to get far. If there's something that can meet you out there that can shut you down in your tracks, then you're not going to get far. Until you make up in your mind, there is no distance I'm not willing to go. There is no pain I'm not willing to endure. There is no hardship that I won't fight through. I'm going the distance. There's going to be always something that can stop you. Until you get to that point that you decide that you're going the distance, there'll be something out there that'll shut you down. Go the distance. That's it for this morning. I'm out of here. Look, a couple of links in there for you to check out some additional resources. You can get the new book that you can pre-order the new book that's dropping next week. You can also check out the Shifting Paradigms course, the Power of Paradigms course. Stay tuned. As I always say, look, I'm a down E. I am going to down E. That means I'm not going to leave one lecture unspoken, one speech unspoken, one book unwritten, one life untouched. Everything that I was designed and built to do, I'm going to do it. Every dream, every vision I set, I'm going to either do it or I'm going to die in the act of trying to get it done. I will not sit up and nurse something in the back of my mind, in the back of my psyche, and not engage it. I'm going to die on E, and I dare you to do the same thing. There's something about living full and dying on E that just cannot be explained. That's it for now. I love you guys. I'm out. Peace.